Introduction to Classical Tibetan, Lesson 7-1, Auxiliary Verbs. Sometimes the main verb in a sentence does not occur on its own. It can be accompanied by a secondary verb that adds to its meaning. This secondary verb is called an auxiliary verb, and it's usually linked to the main verb by par or bar. Auxiliary verbs can be used to specify the tense of a verb. Two common auxiliary verbs are gyurwa, meaning to become, and chepa, meaning to do. Let's first have a look at the different ways that gyurwa can be used. The past tense of gyurwa is spelled gayata gyashapyu gyura gyur. The present and future tenses are spelled with an achung prefix. When gyurwa is the main verb in a sentence, its present or future form means to become or to change into. Written in its past tense, however, the verb usually has a similar meaning as yinpa, the linking verb. In both cases, gyur must be connected to the noun before it by a ladun particle. For example, the sentence chak ser du gyur means iron, becomes or changes into gold. Notice the du form of the ladun between ser and gyur. How about korwe gyur gyurpe marikpa? Ignorance, which is the cause of samsara. Notice the ra form of the ladun particle here. Also, see the connector particles between korwa and gyu, the cause of samsara, and gyurpa and marikpa, ignorance which is. So much for the uses of gyurwa as the main verb. When gyurwa is used as an auxiliary verb, it serves to show the tense of the main verb. Gyur in the past tense shows that the main verb occurs in the past tense. Gyur in the present or future tense indicates the future tense of the main verb. For example, Sange ki gopang tse tila thopar migyuro. Migyur can be translated as will not, and it's connected to the main verb thopa by the ra form of the ladun particle. So the whole verb here is will not attain. If we keep moving to the left from here, we see tse dila, in this life. So one will not attain something in this life. What will not be attained? Sangiki gopang, the level of Buddhahood. So altogether, this sentence reads, one will not attain the level of Buddhahood in this life. If we change the tense of the auxiliary verb, we could make a sentence like this. Now it's has not attained or did not attain. One has not attained the level of Buddhahood in this life. Notice here that the verb thopa changes as well because it has a different form corresponding to the past tense. Gyurwa as an auxiliary verb is extremely common in classical Tibetan. Have a look at the examples on page 92 to familiarize yourself with the uses of this verb. The other common auxiliary verb is chepa. In its past tense, it's spelled bayata chasa che. Its present tense is bayata cha tingbu che da che. And its future tense is bayata cha. If chepa occurs as an auxiliary verb, it can indicate the tense of the main verb. The past form goes with the past, and so on. As an auxiliary verb, the future tense cha can also be translated as must or should. For example, chu dompar cha. One must teach the Dharma. The present auxiliary che adds a causative sense to the main verb. It can be understood as something that makes an intransitive verb transitive. The verb tarpa, for example, is an intransitive verb, to be liberated. Tarpar chepa, on the other hand, means to cause to be liberated, or simply to liberate. Similarly, shiva means to be pacified, while shivar chepa means to pacify, literally to cause to be pacified. If chepa is added to transitive verbs, the meaning usually doesn't change. The future form cha can also be used to nominalize verbs. When it's placed immediately after the verb, without par or bar in between, it changes the meaning of the verb to the object of the verb, or that which is the verb. For example, the verb she means know. As a nominalized verb, it means knowing, shepa. She cha means object of knowledge, or the thing that is to be known. In other words, verbs can be nominalized with pa, ba, or cha. The difference is that cha emphasizes the object of the verb rather than the action. There are a number of other auxiliary verbs that can be used to extend the meaning of the main verb. Some of these are nupa, to be able to, gupa, to need, dupa, to want, rungwa, to be suitable, sipa, to be possible. These are also placed immediately after the main verb. Bula de. One wants to go to Tibet. Keep in mind that the par or bar can sometimes be omitted, especially in poetry. So this sentence could also be written Bula jo. It has the same meaning. To review, auxiliary verbs add meaning to verbs and are placed immediately after the verb that they modify. Gyurwa and chepa are common auxiliary verbs. They can indicate tenses. Chepa can add a causative sense to a verb, and cha can make a verb optative, that is, indicate that one must do something, or it can nominalize a verb, placing emphasis on the object of an action. Auxiliary verbs are usually joined to the main verb by par or bar, but this can sometimes be omitted.